welcome to the Reality Revolution. And I'm really excited tonight. It's a completely different episode on the Reality Revolution because it's all about the new album by Mettaverse called Lifeforms. Now, if this is the first time, if you haven't seen the other interviews, this is Brian Larson I have with me. If you've listened to any other episodes of the Reality Revolution, then you've heard the music of Mettaverse in the background. I'm been so lucky and grateful to incorporate the music of Mettaverse into my meditations, into these lectures, and I'm such a huge fan. One of my favorite musicians of all time, and as I've used this music, I've really gotten to know the DNA behind it. And I'm recommending that anybody who loves music go to the YouTube channel Mettaverse, Mettaverse with two T's.
Yep.
And I think you have like 75 videos up right now, but
yeah,
such a wide, diverse range of music. And so when I was really excited, when I heard that Brian was gonna have a new album, man, I said, we gotta promote it. I want to talk about it. And when I got a chance to finally listen to this album. It's been about a week now that I've had a chance since you came out with it.
Yep.
I know, because I'm a big fan of Brian's music, how tough it must have been to pick out the best songs and really the best parts of the best songs. And these songs have a story behind them. And I really wanted to talk about it. Now, a lot of people that are tuned into the channel, they listen for Neville Goddard or Reality Transurfing. One thing that people may not know about me is I'm a huge, huge fan of music. Used to work in college, paid my way through college by working at Uptown Records in Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, very cool.
My main job was, I was the buyer. People would bring in their used CDs, and I would buy the CDs. Yeah. So, of course, I didn't make very much money because I was buying a lot of the albums that came in. But you get access to this whole other range of music, going to Real World by Peter Gabriel, all the different kinds of world music, all the genres. I mean, do you remember back in the day with Tower Record?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Walk into Tower Record, or I was just with my kids. We went to Amoeba Records, and we're in this day and age right now. We are in this day and age where the single is everything, right?
Right.
But I come from a different time when the album was everything.
Exactly. I mean? Yeah,
it's
me too.
Not just the one song; it's the album. And man, I went through a phase. I'm sure I'm like you, Brian.
Yeah.
I listened to like 100,000. I had 100,000 deep on my iPod. I had the full, 300 gig. What is the most gigabytes you could get on your those old iPods?
Oh boy, the early ones. Yeah.
What are they? I still got two of them in my, because I just want to carry around all the songs.
Yeah.
And so I'm a huge music fan. I will listen to anything, any kind of genre. Of course, there's some I don't like as much. When I listen to this album, this is in the top 5 of the best albums I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Go back and think of the classical, the Beethovens and the Mozarts and some of these classic soundtracks, some of them, that you hear for movie soundtracks. And you will find it will be very difficult for you to find an album as good as Lifeforms by Mettaverse.
Wow.
So
that's quite a compliment.
I'm really honored to have Brian on with me. I want to talk about this album. I want everybody out there to go and buy this album, support his music, because Brian is actually still working a 9-to-5 job. We need to make this happen so that Brian can continue. And if you're producing a movie out there, and I know there's someone out there that's on my channel that is in Hollywood, you want to make a great soundtrack, Brian, oh my God, Brian Larson is like the master. I really want to, I know I'm doing all the talking, but I just want to introduce you.
It's okay.
But you have a diverse range of music, not just one. You listen to a lot. There's some great channels. There's some great music.
There's some really good.
Ambient. There's some incredible channels.
Yeah. But
you really have almost like split personality syndrome with your music.
Yeah.
You have this. You can get a flute and you can feel in the moment this beautiful airy flute that it can be any sort of flute instrument. You've got, I used to, with my sound guy, I was like, just choose anything but piano, man. I don't really want piano, but you have found you've taken the piano and made this something else with me, this haunting, infinite spiritual thing, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you can take this one simple note and carry it out for 10 or 12 seconds, and it's more than just a note. It is
Mhm.
the universe. You know what I mean? In
I,
one 12-second passage.
it's cool to it's cool to hear you say that. It's what I go for.
Yeah. So you I mean
So
like you have strings on
yeah.
some of these songs that I swear I've heard that before. I
Hmm.
know that you're sharing. I can't remember that there isn't a song that I've heard it before, but when you know a song is good, when you hear it and it's like I've heard that song before, and then
Yeah.
you really haven't.
Yeah. Or
That
maybe you've heard
is
it
very
before.
rare.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
maybe it comes from sort of a collective subconscious or, but I know what you mean, that
So,
familiarity.
so
So,
I just want to say welcome to the Reality Revolution. And the
yeah.
purpose of this interview and what we're talking about is music today.
Mm,
And so I just
awesome.
want everybody, when they get a chance, I'll put a link here. There'll be links throughout. There'll be a link in the notes. And I just want everybody to know about Light Forms by Mettaverse, one of the best albums. Now, this album,
Hmm.
you got 11 songs,
Hmm.
mind-blowing songs. So I want to just give everybody an idea. It opens up with Light Forms, which is this kind of hopeful driving beat.
Right.
Got some airy backgrounds. Let's talk a little bit about that. It's you have it as a different song name,
Hmm.
with the basic texture of it on your channel, but newer on your channel, Light Forms. It's got that propulsive beat. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. So that one, I just wanted some sort of, I wanted something really upbeat, and a lot of my work just is trial and error. I mean, I kind of have a feeling or a emotion or a color in my mind, and I just start kind of crafting it as it goes, and it almost just sort of happens, um, despite me,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Is it
But
happening in the propulsively in the moment, or do you see the whole thing at once?
a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know with the ambient, hour long ambient
Right.
song on YouTube, I go for, as long as I can. I make about a 15-minute original 15 minutes a sequence
Right.
of music, and then I'll repeat it a few times and then make embellishments on each repeat. So
Right. I've
so
noticed that.
I kind of hear it, but I almost see like a color landscape. Like, it's
Right.
hard to describe. It's like a feeling,
Right.
uh,
I
a
talk about in
color.
my book. I name drop you in my book.
Oh wow.
You're in the book. I
Yeah,
talk about what we've talked about in the other. And I definitely check out the other interviews that we talk. You have
yeah,
synesthesia,
yeah,
which I think is a
yeah.
part of the nature of why your music is so beautiful. You can
Cool.
see the music, right?
Yeah, yeah. In my mind's eye. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's mute, or it's color and texture, shapes.
And that's why your music to me is so visual.
Yeah,
It has a
yeah,
visual quality to it.
yeah.
So we talked about last time. You don't like the view what saxophone looks like, right? That's like one of
Right. I know.
we
I'm
don't hear a
open
lot.
to, I'm open to different interpretations of it. Like you were saying about piano, sometimes piano has always, I always kind of thought it was maybe a little too generic or
Generic,
vanilla,
right?
and not dissing piano, but the way I want to convey it, because I think it's such a versatile instrument,
Yeah.
where you can,
Are you self-taught? You're playing.
I yeah, I'm self-taught, and
Wow.
so what I'll do is I'll play to the best of my ability, on the keys, and then I'll, edit in MIDI, some of the details of it. So
Right.
I'm
But
not the greatest piano player, but I'll go in there and I'll edit what I hear.
but
So
so but the recording process too, the piano sound that you're layering down, it
yeah,
sounds concert hall piano. There's
well,
an
that's
echo.
cool.
You're really putting it in. It feels like it's coming from a huge grand piano.
Yeah.
You really found a really great process
Yeah.
am I right?
Yep. Yeah. I invested in some pretty good plugins through Native Instruments that helps me really utilize the piano, not only the piano, but the room environment.
Right.
It helps me utilize the sound of the piano player creaking on the bench,
Right.
or
You can drop one chord, bah, and it is
yeah.
like it doesn't need anything else, and you'll let that carry for, on like Awakening the Energetic Heart, for instance, is a good
Oh yeah.
example. Think
Yeah.
of your classic.
Yeah.
You just bah, and you don't hear that. It's such confidence that like
Yeah.
I have enough in this one note that I can carry the whole song. Just
Yeah.
one note,
Yeah.
right? It's
Uh,
amazing.
it's funny. I used to joke when I played in a rock band way back when.
Right.
I used to joke with the guys like, "What if I just made a song with one note?" Just.
Right.
And now it's like, seriously, I'm doing that,
You're
and I was
making a song
laughing
with
about it.
one note,
Yeah.
but it's so natural.
Yeah.
Feels so natural. The
Yeah.
really, and I've had this other people mention to me. When I put your music on my meditation, people are
Mhm.
always complimenting your music, and I'll be
Cool.
pointing out. But it's this feeling that I've heard this before. It is an eternal sound. There's something about your music
Mhm.
is that it's like you're bringing out into this density music that's in the inner layers of reality for an eternity. Like you're
Mm.
taking something I can hear infinity in the music. It's
Yeah.
when you
Uh,
look at a beautiful flower and you see it and you get that feeling, it's the same thing. It's very rare. You don't
yeah.
hear it with a lot of music.
I think from the way I see it, it almost comes from. I know a lot of artists talk about the eternal now, that the akasha, or the
Right.
book of life, or the source where all of this knowledge comes from, all of this manifestation comes from.
Right.
um and that's kind of where I feel it's coming from, this sea of infinite potentiality, that it's just something that we all are, but I'm seeing a window in there, and somehow through synchronicity and um intuition, it just kind of, I don't know, it's weird, it just
Yeah.
happens. And yeah.
Now it's
So
interesting when I listen to a lot of people argue it's all about the frequency, and the frequency
yeah,
can be important.
sure.
But when I was listening to Barry Goldstein, the musician that works with Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
he was saying that it's not about the frequency.
Right.
It's really about the music.
Yes.
Every song has its own frequency. Imagine a
Yep.
trillion different frequencies, and a song with all the combinations in itself is its own. So that there is, you can say it's 432 Hz, but really it's 432 Hz with your own seasoning,
Yes, exactly.
right? That's what
Yeah,
I wanted to. It's not
I
about
agree.
the frequency; it's more than that.
It's way more than that to me.
Hmm.
And I know there's a lot of cool reasons to tune to 432 or tune to 528.
Right,
Mathematically, it's just amazing with the numbers 3, 6, and 9, and how you add these frequencies together, and their sum total is a intricate, beautiful pattern, and it's
right,
amazing to study that stuff. But to me, it's the energy
right,
that I that I mark the music with.
right.
It's like it's kind of it's the heart that I put into it, and kind of
Yes.
fuses with the music, and
It's
it's the
altogether
music
something
itself.
more than just the beat
Yeah,
and the frequency and the modulation. That is
yeah,
what is so special, and why I don't claim when my meditation works out great. I think it's 99% of the time because the music underlying it, and
sure.
so that that's the amazing thing. um so so from light forms we have this, it's hopeful, it's kind of this building hopeful song that's
Yeah,
airy and relaxing, and then we go into the golden harmonic, a beautiful song that mixes some flute and some
yeah,
strings, right?
yep. Hmm.
um Now you have that's another thing. Somebody right now that's listening that hasn't heard your music or hasn't heard your album, when I
Yeah.
say the word flute, they're going to be like, nah, I'm
I know. It's like
piano and flute, I'm out, right? No,
Ron Burgundy.
right. Brian makes flute and piano like punk rock.
Dude,
In the middle of a
that's cool.
meditation. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's not what you think it is. You're
Yeah.
able, and you're not playing the flute, are you? That's just used that, or is that you playing?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm
Because
planning on.
you're doing something with it to make it sound very personal.
Yeah, it's on keys, and it's a combination of flute, plugins,
Right.
kind of like with piano and strings, plugins, and just some samples that I cut and I
Do
rearrange.
you have a plugin of a
And
Doaduk flute? It sounds similar. It's not the same. You
oh
know the
man,
Doaduk?
Doaduk.
The Doaduk flute is the one that I hear Peter Gabriel uses in
Oh right,
the Last
right.
Temptation of Christ a
Okay.
couple times. That's the primary flute, and you're using something similar. It's a different flute. It's a
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a sec. You use about 4 or 5 different flute instruments in this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but they have this haunting, airy, like if you were to make flutes into a language, it's like it's a cry into the infinity about God and loneliness and existence, and it's that there's this sadness and happiness and joy all
Yeah.
captured in a single note.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know. I
You feel what
know.
I'm
I
saying,
do.
right?
Yeah. Because when these flutes, when I mix them in with the bed of ambient pads,
Mm-hmm.
um, I I want to give them a quality of this raw, haunting timelessness, but I also want to capture sort of a frailty. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's it's hard to, because I think in, oh man, it's like I just think in the colors of it all, and it's
Right.
hard to
But
convey it.
it's like
But
if I was walking in a forest that's like no person for 100 miles, and in the very middle
yeah,
of the forest, you start to hear a flute ring
yeah,
out, and that is what
that's
you're
kind of what it is. Yeah,
right.
yeah. It's sort of an ancient sound.
An ancient
Like
sound. It is
yeah,
primal. When I hear it, I'm
yeah.
hearing something that my other incarnations might have heard.
That's what I think. Yes, exactly. Because I have these imprints or these hints
Imprints, right?
of being in a different place of sort of a, like in the middle of the Amazon, or in, at the base of a mountain. I just kind of have these images of being there,
Right.
and this is the kind of flute that I want to hear when I'm there. Um, yeah, I go for that.
And so
So
what you've done, which is so masterful on this album, is you've captured several different of those cries from a flute, almost as if they're, when you listen to the whole album, these
yeah,
flutes become characters. So
yeah,
each of
yeah,
these flute instruments, the way that you've designed it, you've done
yeah,
this tremendous thing, and they've become characters in this play. And so what I'm
wow,
saying, but
yeah,
compared
yeah,
to other, when you're hearing these songs, when you hear the whole album and you carry it around in your head, it's this incredible epic play.
hmm,
There's a story to it. Am I right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So then we go from
yeah,
this song, and then you move to Samadhi, which is
yep,
in the third song, which is, there's a change of pace. It's
yeah,
got a grungier, almost a little bit of frustration and anger, but in a powerful, uh, a driving force behind it, um,
yes,
with the instrumentation that you chose, right?
yeah,
A
yeah,
growl. It's a growl. It's an urgency that's coming from it.
right. It's kind of yeah. There's sort of a grainy kind of a feel. I use some harmonium.
Right.
And I'm picturing a lot of like goldens and tans, and but yeah, there's something about it because um when I make this music, I don't want it to all just be um head in the clouds kind of stuff,
Right.
which is all great.
You
um
created multiple different moods associated with this stuff.
yeah,
Right.
because our who we are in this reality is all of the above. Lots of emotions, lots of
Lots of
moods,
emotions.
lots of experiences, good and bad. Um, what matters is how we choose to observe them, and how we choose to, what we choose to do with them. And I just want to capture kind of an imprint of life, of the struggles, of the joys, of the peace,
Right.
of everything, because we're all, we all experience these things together.
And I think that you had added a little bit to your YouTube for the title. It's like integrating your human in that song, or like,
Yeah, yeah,
you just called it Samadhi here, but there, you were talking about integrating your being. So you're taking this other emotion and
yeah,
bringing it to the forefront after the first. There's this hopeful, relaxing vibe that kind of carries you into this, and then you wake up with the Samadhi, which is a perfect name for it.
yeah,
And then you go to regenerative reset on your fourth song,
yeah,
your most popular song on your channel.
yeah. I'm amazed at how
It
that
exploded out of nowhere. You
just,
never know. It's so weird how you never know which
it
song,
is.
right?
It is weird. Yeah. And I checked on iTunes already, and it's the top playing
Right.
song. So
And it's because that the character, we're introduced to a character in this flute,
yeah,
almost like it's a second generation. It's like we're here listening to this massive story of infinity, and it's this new character that's born, and
yeah,
there's a wisdom and sadness and airy confidence and loneliness, godlike power coming
yeah,
from this sound that you've created. That is a
yeah,
beautiful thing.
yeah, yeah. It's I look back at, the past year of making all this music, and I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
this happened.
It's
I
really
mean,
special, man, and I've been honored to play it on my channel. Super lucky to have it, but
yeah,
every time I put one of your tracks, I'm just like, oh my God, it's so good. It's just so
yeah,
good. So we go
yeah,
from Regenerative Reset. If you've heard Mettaverse channel, check that out. It's got this. You could listen to it. You even have a 9-hour version, and I could listen to it for 9 hours until it ends.
yeah.
Such a
I do
great
take
song.
requests.
Yeah.
That was
So
from a request. I forgot,
and,
there was somebody who was wondering and wanted to hear a longer version.
right. So
Yeah,
when you look at the classic structure of albums, it's always, as you know what I'm talking about.
yep,
What are you going to put as your fifth song? There's always
yeah,
which one is the hit song, which one is the best song,
yeah,
which one is every song has a mood. When you listen to 100,000 albums, you start to the fifth song is key, right? The third and
yep,
fifth songs, you know,
yep,
you
yep.
got it
It's
right.
true.
Did
It's
you notice
true.
the third and fifth song, right? The first song is grabbing your attention. It
Yep,
creates the mood. The second song is, oh, I want to listen to more of this album. The third, bam. Okay, we're going to change this up. And then
yep,
Regenerate Reset, which is your best song, is the fourth song, which is you're leading into Love the Universal Constant, this
yeah,
beautiful piano piece.
yeah.
And I use the Love the Universal Constant on my manifesting a specific person or soulmate, the love
Yeah,
meditation.
I heard that. And you mixed it with,
I
what
mixed
did
it
you
with
mix it with?
Spiritual Reboot
Oh my gosh.
at the
I
same
heard that.
time.
I know I heard that. I'm like, no way.
Right.
I would not have thought, but it worked perfectly.
I have a theory that if you were to play all of your songs, all
Mhm.
75 of them at the same time, from
Yeah.
if you everybody push play on all of them, that it
Yeah.
would still sound like one song.
That would be a good
I have
experiment.
this
Well,
feeling. I have this feeling that you have a symphony inside of you. You're creating like little lines of the symphony, but
yeah.
when I play your songs together, like I know if we played all 11 of these songs on the album, which is another amazing test for an
Yeah.
instrumental album like this, if you put them all together, they would still make one incredible song.
I should do that.
It's
I
not
should.
a wall of sound. I'm telling you,
Right.
please, I want you to,
I
or
will.
play around with it.
Okay. Okay.
Because we originally, when we first kind of met, I had asked to play, and we played. You have a song 777 Deep Relaxation, a kind of low bass undertone,
Yeah.
and then we played Holy Frequency at the same time, this angelic sound, and they
Yeah.
sounded like one song. But it goes beyond that. There is something mathematical to your
Yeah.
music, and you're not doing it on purpose. Right?
No. No.
It has a mathematical quality to it.
Yeah, and that's one of those synchronicities that just blow me away. Like I'm just like some musician dude who used to play in a rock band, and I found sort of this sort of spiritual awakening, I guess, through a lot of hardship. And now it's just, I'm just letting something flow through me. I still have, I've a skill set of playing instruments and writing music, but somehow there's something that just kind of is happening naturally. And
how addicting is that? I would want to ride that. Like,
I absolutely do.
Once you have a song come out like that. So one of the things you do for Love the Universal Constant and also The Language of Light, one of the things I love about your piano pieces, because really you have several categories of different songs.
Yeah.
You have, but the Love the Universal Constant, the piano piece is, you have these airy interludes where it kind of, and you'll play with the slightest ticks and sounds, and every single little sound becomes, it could be just the sound of a pencil on a table, but you will create, even they all are so beautiful and cosmic, and you really can pull the listener into the moment no matter what's going on with them, because it's so, and it's not a melody, it's not a rhythm, it's this sound, this image that you're portraying, that it calls to something very primal.
That's amazing.
Like a lullaby, like when you
the way you're describing it, it just exactly. I mean, and I have such a hard time putting words to it, because it's a feeling, and it's a color and a shape and everything. It's a primal yet spiritual knowing, that is just kind of, I'm trying to translate into music form.
So you should pause this video now, go and buy the album, and then come back and start play, because I'm telling you that this album should be the best selling like this album of all time, and eventually it will be. It is in many different galaxies and planets. We're just honored to have Brian with us in this density now, and so people, we have no idea that I'm talking to a genius right now, and it's amazing. So Love the Universal Constant. And then we go into Divine Frequency, and that's a newer song. It's a renamed song, and that is another one of your flute. That's the Mathematical Matrix. Is that originally?
Divine Frequency. Oh, that was the one. I think it was. I did that a while ago.
Or is that the Miracle Tone? It's the same as the Miracle Tone?
This one actually is the same. Let me look here.
Because it's got that flute, and that's another, that flute sound. Have I heard that?
Yeah.
When I hear that, I feel like that I am in like Alaska. I feel like I'm like in this natural area, and it's the core of nature and the wild being called out in this echo, almost like a cry of a wolf.
It is a very.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does totally make sense. I mean, it's like this. I was
thinking, did I hear that in a Pink Floyd song? But no, it's close. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've heard that a similar flute kind of expression. I've heard those flute expressions before, but I wanted to give it enough reverb and echo. That mixes along with the pads. I think it's also the bed of the pads that I put down too. And how I want to mix that with the flute, and so it's just
this is a new character, not the same as Regenerative Reset. Like I said, the flute it's another character. It's almost like a response to Regenerative Reset, like it's like a conversation is going on. The Love the Universal Constant is kind of like the pulling together of these two characters. That's what it felt like when I Regenerate Reset, and then Divine Frequency. That's right. Divine Frequency is 111HZ Divine Frequency, and it's got the low growl with that calling out. So I remember that's where that originally was. One of your very popular songs, but it has the underlying growl, but it's not as much as Samadhi. It has this lower vibe to it. But it's being called out among all of it. There's a reaching out with this flute, kind of above all of the wall of sound. That's how I'm seeing it.
So it kind of goes up, up, and then it plays below an octave, and it's kind of like it's like a call and response kind of thing.
And so then we come to Spiritual Reboot, one of my favorite songs of all time now. And I've played this and with it's another one of your magical songs. You could play it with anything in the background.
Sure.
But it reminds me a little bit. It's a callback a little bit to Peter Gabriel's Last Temptation of Christ, one of the all-time great soundtracks. Not entirely, but it has this low. It's like the grandfather. It's like we have two characters, and then now we have the wisdom coming in.
Sure.
That's at least my interpretation. This wisdom that comes in, this deep wisdom that's saying, under everything that we've just come to in this story of your album, we have this wisdom under all of it. It's both sad and it's wide and it's powerful and it's eternal. It's beyond the veil.
It's amazing. It's just amazing to hear other people's perspectives of it.
Right.
It really is, because I'm kind of in my little
right. I'm telling you my feeling, and if people listen to it, I want to get there. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. I would love to hear what your impressions are of these albums, because there's multiple stories. But Spiritual Reboot, I texted you, didn't I? The day you put it out, I texted you.
You did.
Beyond the Veil. This is so amazing. The person I was driving with, and I was like, I was like just mind blown. I was in a state of shock, like, wow, I cannot believe the possibilities that are around this song when I heard it. So
that's
and
so
then
cool.
And that's you have the perfect time for these. That's 11/11.
Yep.
You found like the perfect increment of time and captured the best parts of each of these. And then Healing Tranquility, this beautiful song, another where you use a single note, where you use this single note and it kind of drives the rhythm and the airiness of it, right? Tell me where that came from a little bit.
So I did that. I was kind of envisioning a lighter, more playful kind of, I was, smelling the spring air and just kind of envisioning the setting.
Right.
And it kind of came out that way. So it was, and it's another one of those things where I put together kind of a feeling, in one song, and it just starts to take shape.
I mean, it is beautiful. I cannot think of I couldn't even say, what's the genre of that song?
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't know.
Jazz? If somebody was it's not. There is not a genre for that song. It's still, it's still a meditation type of song.
It kind of is,
but kind of not. I mean, it is right.
Right. That's the thing. Like a lot of the music, I'm like, it could be a meditation, but it's kind of not. It's kind of a listening
Which is why
experience.
It's such great for meditation. People, there's such generic songs for meditation songs.
Right.
So when I would hey, I want to make a meditation, I remember looking in it. It was so generic. It didn't resonate. It just seemed like somebody, put together, and yours, it's evoking that part that we really want to touch when we meditate. It's not about the flat droning sound. It's about that part that evokes in us.
Right. Exactly.
So this beautiful song, Healing Tranquility. And then we come to maybe one of my favorite songs of all time. In the top 5, I put it on the same level as, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven, as, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Sea of Samsara is one of the most beautiful songs of all time. I've said it to you before, haven't I?
Yeah.
It has this, you have this beat, the bass beat, you have the piano is like this character. And it comes in, this little character that says at first is timid and then finds its place. And then it's driving and it's like it finds its confidence.
And that's kind of what Samsara is in a way,
right? So Samsara is it's all of our life. I was just listening to an episode where somebody mentioned the Sea of Samsara, and it was so. I want to hear where that came from. Is it all of our lives, all of the different lives coming together in one?
I think
What is
yeah,
it?
it's sort of a journey of what we are, who we are in this reality or this
Right.
density, whether or not we have come and gone millions of times, but it's kind of that cycle. It's
It's
that
all of it
cycle.
together.
And it's
Put
all
it
that together in
in one thing.
our search to to reunite with where we originally came, our search to reunite with the source, with God, if you will,
Right.
and it's the search to break that cycle. um
I
and
would love to hear this live with a full orchestra.
that would be, oh my gosh, that would be
You know what I'm
amazing.
saying?
Yeah,
This is
that
the
would be
song.
really cool.
If they said, "Hey, we got an orchestra. Like, would you like to play one of your songs?" If you
It
got to
would be
say
that one.
CM Stars,
Yeah,
right?
that would be that one. Yeah.
Because it feels like when I'm hearing it that you made it with a full orchestra.
Yeah.
Even at the end, you have the crickets,
Yeah, that was
and you
right out my window. I think one night I just love going outside and just taking a mic and just recording crickets or
right.
recording whatever's out there, and um, I love it. It's just so beautiful and haunting. Oh, I love that time of year.
Right.
So yeah.
And then we come to Language of Light. Now,
Hmm.
one of my most popular episodes, I have a meditation called Isn't It Wonderful?
Yeah.
I mixed Language of Light with the Holy Frequency.
Oh wow.
And it's just it's similar to Love the Universal Constant, but different. It has its own um, vibe, and you use the piano again.
Yep.
It's perfect. After CM Samsara, it takes you beyond the journey to this hopeful, like you've gone beyond, and now you're at this higher point
Yeah.
where you reach
Yeah.
the light
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this album.
Yep.
Was that your purpose for placing it as the 10th song?
It was. The arrangement of this music, it's hard to explain. Like, I just kind of knew. I don't know.
Hmm.
I just found, I chose the songs, 11 songs, and I just kind of looked at them, and all of a sudden it took me maybe 2 minutes to arrange them the way I knew they were supposed to go.
Right.
Um, and then I look back, I'm like, oh, okay, that worked. There was
Right.
just something that intuitively was like, okay, this is how we're going to arrange them. And
So and it's such a beautiful song. I'm so
yeah,
happy it made it to the album, Language of
yeah,
Light, because you
yeah,
went through that piano phase where you love the Universal Constant and Language of Light.
yeah,
And it's perfect after Sea of Samsara.
yeah,
People listening to the album might even think, without that they are kind of one song, but they're different. There's different emotion to it.
yeah.
But they
Mhm.
they connect. They connect so that it flows perfectly. And
So,
then you
yeah,
have Field of Oneness, this song that has a uh, combination of sounds that it sounds like I've heard that from a soundtrack or a movie or something, but I haven't. I mean,
yeah,
am I right?
yeah. That just happened.
That sounds like a Beethoven or Mozart or some classic arrangement. That's a perfect little combination of strings.
Sure. It was, yeah, it really, I really wanted to make an intro of just really epic strings. And so I layers upon layers of strings of cellos and violins and just kind of, I made a layer and a sort of a melody. Then I wanted to go into kind of a flowy type sea of
I can
sound. And then
instantly evoke it in my mind, and I can hear it and feel it, and it raises me almost every time. It's
that's
a
cool.
combination, it's a frequency in and of itself that is wonderful. The field of
Yeah.
oneness. And so when you listen to all of this as a whole, it is just a masterful epic, um, you know, Hans Zimmer level. We're talking about
That's,
a little bit of, it's
yeah,
got a taste of a little bit of taiko. It's got a taste
that's
of some of
cool.
the best ambient
Love
music.
Tycho.
It's really got, but it, beyond that, it has a DNA that is uniquely of your own.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing. So we'll have a link. We'll try to put the iTunes link in here, and I'm just saying, if you appreciate art and if you appreciate music and you want to support a musician that truly deserves it, check out. I mean, you did like Radiohead. You offered this and let people pay what they want because you
Yeah.
given your
Oh,
music with
you
your,
know it. Yeah, with In
you
Rainbows.
totally went the Radiohead route with this, which is the coolest thing, man.
Yeah.
So come on, listen,
Yeah.
Brian's not selling out. I'm the one that asked to promote your album. You didn't contact me, right? I'm the one that
Right.
contacted you, right?
And I love it. I mean, I
But
really,
you're
really
not.
do.
I'm saying that just a purchase of this music means that we will get more of this beautiful music. And so
Yeah.
if a purchase of Metaverse is a purchase for a better world. So I'm just saying right
It's
now.
amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
I mentioned in a text, I thought it would be cool if we could, I don't know, maybe at some point, if we could create one of those remember those old infomercials when they
Yeah. Yeah.
advertised those albums, those,
Oh, dude, that would be
30 love
awesome.
songs, or
Yeah.
remember they would have like a string and you could get a box set, like
Yeah. Yeah.
Time Life 60s box set, and they would
Yep.
play a little part of all these different songs. And I would just love to do like something for this album like that. But
Dude, that would be so cool.
I know.
I really want to do some sort of vinyl, but I don't think I could probably fit all that music on a vinyl.
Oh,
But I
it's a
want.
double vinyl, no problem, right? You
Oh,
could
I
easily create a
suppose.
double
Yeah.
vinyl. I mean,
Okay.
there's a couple bands that have had albums that are similar.
Okay.
So it would be a double vinyl, like, and that would be easy. You could
Yeah.
definitely create a double vinyl. So if you invest now, you can also, that gives us a better likelihood of we can get some vinyl, because this would be amazing on vinyl.
That's exactly what
Absolutely
I'd love to
amazing.
do.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Are you going to have this? Can I get the hard copy of the CD?
I haven't thought about CDs yet, but I think that's probably a good idea
Right.
eventually. So yeah.
All right.
For you, Brian, I will get you a
No,
CD.
it's
I
cool. That's cool.
promise.
I got it. I'm just saying, I'm still old school like that. I mean, I
I am
still
too.
don't buy very many CDs, but
Yeah.
a lot of my CDs I still kept in my collection. I still
Well,
have my
there's that
bootlegs and
tactile.
right.
Yeah, there's that tactile thing,
There
like
is. I mean,
especially with vinyl.
that's why I came back to vinyl, because
Yeah,
it has this feeling, this big, beautiful thing that I get a hold of my hand and
it's
put the
art.
insert and smell it. There's a smell to it. The feeling
Yep.
putting on.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
we are missing in music today. There's
Yeah.
some great music. I'm sure that I'm not hearing. I'm hearing great singles all the time, and so many great artists. But
Right.
I sometimes I try to go and listen to the album. But there's a point where these artists now only ever listen to music as singles, and
You're right.
it's a real shame. There's
Right.
an art form in the album. And
I totally agree, and that's the thing. Like with, I was trying to think how I wanted to start releasing this stuff on iTunes and Spotify, and I just kept going back to the album because I'm like you. I'm old school like that. There's finding the right songs to fit together into this
into the album.
long experience and this journey. It's
Right.
like a movie with different
Right.
scenes. So yeah.
I remember, a lot of albums started developing even more when I got auto reverse on my cassette.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
And so
Oh my gosh.
the band would tie that little bit at the end of each side so that they
Yeah.
would blend together and you wouldn't know it switched, right?
I remember
So
that.
it would
I remember
click
that.
over, and then you might like lose. It switched. Like they would start playing this, and so you only had so long that you could play on the tape. They couldn't go
Right.
longer. It couldn't be a longer tape. So you'd buy the tape, and it would be what they'd have 60 minutes, right?
Yeah. Yep. And the one thing I suppose I could tell you now, there's going to be an encore album. So
all right.
Yeah. So
And so there were probably some songs that you felt like you really wish you could have got on here that you didn't, right?
yeah. But this one's going to be it's going to be more of the rhythmic music.
Okay.
It's going to be
Like source are you going to get that the source?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you yeah. Oh, I'd have to look.
It's the 8-minute song that you have.
Right. That it's going to be that. Yeah, because what I really need to do, I think, is get out of my system is like my sort of synth wave,
Yeah. There is nothing that you
chill
should
wave
do
kind
it
of.
all. Don't ever question. If you got
So I'm
some
like,
rhythm in you, man, bust that out.
I'm
It
like,
seems
I
like
just got to
you're
get that
gold.
out of my system, you know. So
I'm thinking. I think about so many artists that I've listened to, and you know, they'll have some bad songs. I've never
yeah.
heard a bad song from Brian Larson,
Oh,
and that's batting 1,000 with 75 songs, and you're creating hour-long songs on a regular basis. There are musicians out there that take 4 or 5 years to freaking come up with an album. You're putting out
yeah.
hour-long songs every week.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying.
what you're accomplishing is really amazing. People are not aware of. And there's a lot of artists on YouTube that people are not aware of, that are doing something similar. What we're seeing musically on YouTube is really amazing compared to what we had in the past.
I totally agree. And that's one thing that I'm really into, is finding other artists out there that that are amazing. I mean, I've been finding some other people who will do live streams of meditation music, and it's just, I love it. I love it. It's all about getting people inspired. If somebody wants to create this kind of music, it's all about helping people get inspired to do it, you know, so we can all express ourselves and just have we can all just be, you know, family of creators.
And the thing that your music really does, it taps into two things that I think are the two most important things right now, and that's that spiritual connection with ourself, and that creative part of ourself. We're going through life every day, and we need to be creative if we want to create our world around us, and we can't even create anything on our own lives. And when I listen to your music, it brings that feeling of creativity. I can make, you know, a mistake or do something, but it's this excitement and joy, this creative joy that all of your music has evoked in me, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, man.
Oh my gosh, it's an honor. It's a pleasure. I mean, I'm really happy to have connected with somebody like you. Literally, I mean, seriously, because
I'm happy the same way.
You know, and it's great to have the encouragement and all that other stuff, because sometimes, you know, when you're posting constantly, you get a little exhausted. Then you have to reach like deep inside of you. And it's always good to hear that encouragement.
Well, what you're doing, you know, is huge. You're raising the vibration of the planet with every song, and so, but my thing is, we can't let the album die. When we have an album like this, I don't care what my channel's about, I'm going to dedicate a video to this album, and I'm going to tell everybody in the world that watches this video, check out Light Forms by Mettaverse. And if you'd like to know more about Brian Larson, I have 2 other previous interviews. The first one got a little messed up, but we really went deep, and Brian's fascinating and has a fascinating story overcoming alcoholism and addiction, and it's very inspiring. And thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. I mean, I really appreciate you pushing the album, you know, sharing it. So
well, we will definitely have you on again. And
awesome
album. But in any case, welcome to the Reality Revolution.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Unlimited possibilities. Dedicated to the spirits who believe life is meant to be magical.
Check it out. He has some really good meditations, and you discuss.
It contains advanced viewpoints of the multidimensional human beings of the 21st century. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Sometimes you need to go back. We were able to visualize with exploring stuff that's fun to explore. I can tell. Unleash your potential.
Some topics on how to change the subconscious mind and some
I'm your host, Brian Scott.